Alderman Schulten, seconded by,
Now, the motion is to, from now on,
From
the
now
water
on.
and sewer,
It's the
landowners only.
landowner.
Is your motion, okay?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Councilman McDonald.
Yeah, that's a good reason, Amy, you got, I mean, they need to be levied.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion's carried. Okay. Okay.
We had a couple of things last month that were tabled, didn't we? One was the ambulance budget,
Yep, we have that in, provided that tonight, so it's here.
and there's one other thing, I can't remember what it was.
Okay. Dan and I and Archie met with Black Brook and, the ambulance the other night to go over contract numbers. I gave you a breakdown of the calls, over the last 3 years. Calls in the town of Jay were 192 last year, and town of Black Brook 220. Difference of 28 calls. If you look in 2012, Jay had 231, Black Brook 177. 2011, Jay had 202, and Black Brook had 166, a difference of 36 calls there. The contract as it states now, we're responsible for 64% of the budget, they're responsible for 36. We discussed the other day that, there's gotta be a new way of doing this, because, I mean, there's no way we should be paying that much more. So we're gonna continue negotiations for the 2015 agreement. Black Brook doesn't wanna do anything more than a 3-year or 1-year contract, and that, after speaking with Dan and Archie and everybody the other night, I think the agreement was that we'll still go on the 1-year contract. What happens now is they put a budget together, their CAG reimbursement, their insurance reimbursements, they come back to the ambulance. We take from September to August of the year of, to put the 2014 budget together, we took September of 2012 to August of 2013 to use for our budget to put together of their insurance. Whatever they took in for insurance money gets deducted from the budget, and then we pay 64%. They pay 36%. Kinda complicated, but
And
now,
nobody knows where that figure came from, right?
well,
Kind of?
it was done years ago, but it, when we met with them and their attorney there tonight, we feel it needs critiquing. We do a separate contract with the ambulance service, we do one and they do one, but it's been based on that formula, it's just something that
It was done off the assessed value back at the time in the distance, in the population that they covered. Well, since then, they expanded their district over there, they go into Union Falls and all over. We have lost all kinds of assessed value over here, so it really needs to be, it should, 50/50 is about right.
And you're gonna have
Most of
to-
it,
we stress
50/50
that,
is
but-
right.
Ricky's taking it back to his
Can we do a
board.
contractual agreement with them, X amount of dollars?
we could, and that's what they kinda would like to do that. Dan would give his recommendations why we wouldn't do that, cause we would still wanna see what they're bringing in for totals from insurance
Oh,
money.
yeah.
Now, the difference being that on insurance, where other corporations or city ambulances, they bill everybody. I'll say before, ambulance does not, if somebody doesn't have insurance, they don't bill them. Just so that it's out in the open, what we're doing is we're trying to renegotiate, and I think Archie's right, I think we need to go to a 50/50 split, because you're gonna have years that we're up on calls,
Yeah.
years that they're up on calls, and, but, we just gave this to Supervisor Nolan and Attorney Martineau the other night to take back to their board to discuss it. We've agreed to sit down, the first week in September, we agreed with, Archie and Jerry are the liaisons to the ambulance. We agreed to start sending, one of them to their board meetings, or the first Monday of every month. We've agreed to send one of our board members. Blackbrook said they would send one of theirs. And so I'd need for Archie and Jerry if they wanted to rotate, every month, six meetings, but, and, so we're gonna move forward. We're gonna meet earlier next year, to go over, where we feel it should be, whether you base it on call volume or what have you, but, so just wanted to let you know where we were at with it and what we've been discussing, but Dan did provide a contract for tonight for us for 2014, so we can get that out of the way. We'll wait till he gets here on that one. The DPW hours carried forward, I don't have that. I put it on, back on Susan's desk so we could talk about it first. Chris has approved it. It was, for them to carry over some hours, but I need to look at that, so let's wait until next month on that. Let's wait till April. All right, so if we have questions for when Dan gets here, that. All right, board comments. Archie?
Nothing.
Amy?
I wanted to thank Carol and the youth group and working with the Missing Children's Tournament. I think it's a wonderful thing. Tom for his hard work with cooking and Carol getting it together. It was a really win-win. And I think that's about it. Just stay warm, everybody, and hopefully no more frozen water pipes around.
Tommy?
The only thing I got in my plan is, are we gonna vote on a dog control officer position?
We will have to go into executive session to discuss what, how you
Amy
get
and
out
I
of
did
this.
meet, the candidates, and, so we should, do that for discussion.
So you're ready to make a recommendation. Anything else you have besides that, besides going into executive session on that? Okay. Just to update you, I wanna let you know that, it's also hard to comply. 2 years ago, they put a new state law on about to make government more open. It's taxing on staff. As you'll see, you actually have a packet today that's right in order.
Yeah. I did halfway through the meeting.
Law says you have to put it onto the website. If you have a website, it has to be on the day before, which we did. We complied.
She's telling me that.
It's very time consuming.
The
To
agenda
put this,
as well, right?
yep, the agenda as well, to comply thoroughly with it, it probably costs us another 3-4 hours to make everything right. It's not easy, some towns aren't doing it, some villages aren't doing it, we're trying to comply with every part of it. It's not easy, but we're doing it, and, so that's why everything's right in order, and we'll continue to do the best we can with it. We are always open, our meetings are on charter communication, they're taped, anybody can always come in and see the tape. We have the minutes, we are updating our website, Susan worked on the website today, updating the minutes, updating, let's see, what else was she doing? The department heads and the phone numbers and everything, she was working on all those things today, so she spent quite a bit of today on that. So it is taxing on staff to make that work. It's, so I just wanna let you know that.
Back to the DPW hours, what are those carried over? Were those, is that their personal hours that they weren't having able to use because of the time constraints and everything?
No, yep.
Do you know how they are on their overtime, or they?
I do have the breakdown and all that, that's what I had questions on it, so I sent it back and we never got a chance to actually talk about it today.
A long way.
I wanna just update you on the EFC loan, in working on it, we borrowed $1 million from EFC, we borrowed $2 million right after Irene, we borrowed $2 million from Community Bank. The we paid the $2 million off to Community Bank, the EFC loan, we've only used about $500,000 of it. Cause I'm worried about, even though we need to use the money to do more work, I'm worried about the cost onto the water district with the people that are left behind. I've stated my case to the governor's office, I've stated it to Matt Driscoll at EFC and Office of Homeland Security, and today at, Office of Storm Recovery. There's some EFC loans that came out after Sandy hit, and, they were 75-25, 75 loan, 25 grant. I put a request in to see if we can get this before we go forward. If we could get the same option on this loan, I'm not sure it's gonna work, but if it is, it means $250,000 to us. We've been putting numbers together, what it cost us, we've been writing letters requesting it, so it's been time consuming, but I am doing a conference call on Tuesday with EFC, and, hopefully that works out. It's $250,000 to the Alsea Sports Water District if it works out for us. I did say that staff that was sick, just to update you on the snow removal, tomorrow morning, the town is gonna take care of the banks. It is the New York State Department of Transportation's job to do that. We had some concerns from some businesses today. Chris reached out to the state. We're gonna remove them tomorrow, the banks on Main Street, and the state's gonna pay us to do so, so it'll be revenue coming into us.
There's been some concern on snowbanks just the day after the snowstorm.
Yep. So, we're gonna,
Apparently they're new to the area.
well, it's, some of the business owners are concerned that they're getting their people in, but we reached out to the state, they're gonna pay us to do it, so Chris is gonna do it at 3 AM in the morning. Other things, just, and some of the people don't know that the road is actually owned by the DOT, it's not us, you know? And I just wanted to mention that when I was in Washington last week, they got 4 inches of snow and they shut the city down for 3 days. There was no school for 3 days. It was hard to get from point A to point B. If you did find a taxi that you could get in, they charged you $15 each way more, they call it an emergency fee.
I lived there 2 years, yes, I know.
Snowbanks in different areas, so I think we're very fortunate from what, it was eye-opening to us to see what actually happens in those areas. So again, I commend Chris for the job that he does when he, on these large storms. Our guys did a great job last night. Archie and I talked about that earlier today. They worked hard last night.
With the truck down.
With the truck down, with the truck down. What's we got here?
And they look out for one another constantly, they're on the radio checking on one
Yeah,
another.
they do, yeah.
And I think over the years, we've got spoiled. I grew up on Main Street. We used to love a snowstorm because we would go play on the banks and we play King of the Hill, and my mother would always come out of the bar restaurant that we own and holler at us, don't play on that other side of the bank, fall on this side on the sidewalk because you're gonna get run over by a car. And we used to go to every business and ask them what they wanted us to shovel out front, and they'd give us a couple dollars to
Just
shovel
used
out
to have a
front.
shovel, yeah.
And, I was talking to I think it was, some of the businesses in Plattsburgh and how they do it. They're responsible for doing it in front of their own business, or
That's
if they
right.
don't do it in a certain amount of time,
Lake Placid is the
They
same
get
way.
fined.
they get fined, and
They have
they
to
come
do
in,
their
the
own
town does it,
businesses.
the city does it, and then they put it onto them, they put it on their taxes, so. We do the best we can, and the people that were calling today, certainly we're not complaining, they just wondered when it was gonna be taken care of, and Chris reached out to the DOT, they said, we'll pay you guys to do it, we're swamped, and Chris is sending his guys out at 3 tomorrow, and they'll pay us to do it, so. With that said, audience comments, Chris, you have anything else?
Just that you guys are doing a great job, and I understand, Archie, where you're coming from on some of that stuff. It's, you look out for every penny, and I appreciate you having me doing that. And I know, Randy, you've put a lot of blood and sweat and tears into what you do, and I think you're worth every penny, so.
Thank you.
And Tommy and Amy, you guys do a great job too, and Jeremy, if you were here, very pleased with having a chance to get to see you guys and work, and you really do look out for us, just like you said, for that little boy in his glasses, it's not just a job for you guys, it's something else, so, thank you.
Thank you, Chris, I appreciate that. So with that said, I need a motion to go into executive session, to discuss some personnel issues.
I'll move that.
Moved by Councilman
Second.
McDonald,
Fish fry tomorrow night, Chris.
seconded by Councilman Michelle. Further
Cool.
discussion?
What's that?
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. The time is 8:12 PM. We are executive session.
4 to 7.
4 to 7?
Thank you, Chris.
Enjoy your night, everyone.
You
You
too.
do.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Bob,
Chris.
Mike.
I will.